disclosure. Sober disclosure. Breezy's a slut.
And we like it in the butt.
Are you or someone you know looking for support in recovery? Taste Recovery is your go-to directory for sober resources. Whether you're searching for treatment centers or sober living communities, Taste Recovery connects you with the right tools and support to help you on your journey. With a user-friendly platform and a comprehensive list of resources, Taste Recovery makes finding the help you need easier than ever. Start building your path to a healthier, sober life today. Visit tasterecovery.com to find the resources that work for you. Taste Recovery, your first step to a lasting positive change. Hi everyone, I'm Breezy.
And I'm Jimmy.
And we are
Sober
Disclosure.
Woo.
And our very special guest today is drumroll. Brrr. Introduce yourself.
Hi guys, I'm Noah.
Hi guys.
Everything you said is just funny.
I know. I knew this was going to be a good podcast. Okay, so how many years do you have sober?
A little over, almost 7 years.
Oh my God, same with Jimmy.
Oh my God, me too. January 15th.
Nice. March 24th, 2018.
Oh,
so like
nice.
a little, like, you have 6 years.
I have
No, I'm
more
just
time.
kidding.
We're at 6.
I'm just kidding. Okay, is this your first time getting sober?
No.
How many times have you gotten sober before?
More than I can count.
Okay, and had you ever made it to a year before this time?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. What's different between that time and this time?
There's a lot of differences.
us.
I think
The floor is yours.
it's like, I think for sure there was many years where I was forced to get sober or like pushed by other people, whether it be a judge, family, girlfriends, everybody but me. Most of the times I was just trying to get the heat off. Right?
Yeah.
Like whatever I had done, I needed a little space from it. Needed to get my life back together, and didn't think that I was an alcoholic or a drug addict. That I just needed to take a little break from it and maybe try it differently. The difference this time is that I was done. Right? Like I had realized that I keep burning everything to the ground and that my life is terrible and miserable when I drink and use. And that I was going to try it the way that the people that were happy and sober were doing it. And no matter what, it was going to be this time. Like I was going to try to stay sober no matter what.
I love that answer.
And that was like a, what is it, like a, kind of like something that like came to you, or like, what is it, a spiritual awakening?
Or was it advice?
So,
You just listened.
so no, I
Did you pray?
I had
The
a,
gay
I
away?
had a
Pray
moment,
the gay away.
I had a moment of clarity, right?
Yeah.
I was in front of my mirror.
Naked?
No. I was fully clothed. I mean, it's kind of a wild story. I had just relapsed, for a few weeks right before my brother's wedding.
Okay.
Meth and heroin, and was strung out and trying to detox or withdraw on my own. And the girl that I'd been living with had just moved out of my apartment and taken everything that I owned and left me in this empty apartment. And I relapsed because I didn't know how to handle it. So started with heroin and then tried.
We like that.
It's good. It's fun until it's not fun anymore,
Yeah.
right? And I don't know how to handle those emotions of being abandoned,
Yeah.
or being left by myself and feeling resentment. And I pick up heroin, right, and start using right before my brother's wedding and try to get off of it before the full family comes into town, and I can't. So my best thinking is get some meth and like try to withdraw that way, and then I'm just stuck on both of them and stuck in my bathroom, living in my bathroom for I don't know, like a week. I was picking my face, right, and my ex was coming by to check my pulse every day to make sure I was still alive, even though she was done with me. And I realized, she's like, what's wrong with you? You're using meth now too? And I was like, no, it's just heroin, like calm down. Like, what's wrong with you? I can't be honest about it, still trying to hide it. And she noticed that I'm picking my face, so I had to come up with like a solution to get her off my back. And so I stood in front of the mirror for 2 days straight and just tweezed my whole beard, and I was like crouched over the sink in the mirror for like literally 2 days straight, plucking my face, and it was the cleanest shave. It was the cleanest shave ever. It was kind of nice and smooth, but when I like got up and I couldn't like move my back, I was like stuck in this like really awkward position, and I looked in the mirror, and for the first time in 20 something years, I saw like the monster that had been created over time, and I was like finally sick with what I saw back. I've been introduced to AA and treatment centers since 2003, and I got sober finally this time in 2018. So it's a long journey of in and out, and like chaos and ruining lives, relationships, and you name it. But this is the first time I actually like got to see myself and like what I'd become, and I was sick with it. And I had a moment where I said, either you're going to kill yourself right now, or you're going to go get sober the way that everyone else is doing it and doing it successfully. And that's where I surrendered. That was the no matter what moment.
Yeah. I too was in that same, like, I'm either going to kill myself or I'm going to go get sober. I think most people that hit that emotional bottom, it's literally like, just kill yourself, or you literally have to do something, because I cannot go on living like this another day.
I mean, you know, like at the same time in that mirror, I was like looking at myself, and I got to see, we talk about the inner child or, you know, whatever, but I had a picture of myself as like an 8-year-old boy. I'm like, what happened to that cute little kid, right? That kid that got out of bed in the morning to play, or just like with a big smile on his face that everyone loved to be around, but nobody wants to be anywhere near this. Like, this is not what meant to be. Yeah. You know, either you're going to just go, or you're going to try to become that person again. And,
so what did you do differently? What was the no matter what? Like, what were the pieces of advice that people gave you this time around that you actually listened to versus those other times you got sober and it didn't work?
So like I said, I've been to AA, you know, since 2003, and treatment centers, and had gone and tried a little bit of recovery and tried to work the steps, or basically did it my way many times, right? So I'd work some of the steps, the ones that were convenient to me, get honest about some of the things that were convenient to me. There were secrets that were not getting told to anybody, because I didn't believe that people actually told their secrets to somebody.
Well, what are the secrets?
Oh, those are private. Those are private. And you know, for so
tell us one.
For so there's no like chickens or goats or none of that shit, Jimmy. That's
boring.
But I don't care anymore.
It was like, oh, my uncle touched me.
No. I mean, fortunately, that's not part of my story.
Not mine either.
Jesus Christ. Where were we?
What did you do differently?
Yeah, what did you do differently?
So, you know,
I know one big thing that you did do.
What's the big thing?
You didn't date.
I didn't date. Okay,
for
so
how
that
long?
was for almost a year.
I love that.
Yeah.
But you did have sex.
Well, that's fine.
Lots and lots of meaningless sex.
And you know what? You know what my sponsor said? Which I can't do, was you could have sex if it's not going to mean anything to you and it won't fuck you up. But only you know that. But a lot of people can't do that. But if you can, then do it. It's your, you know what I mean? You have to be honest with yourself. I can't do that, so I couldn't have sex or date.
Your first year.
My first year.
When I came back to AA this time, like I surrendered, right? I told my sponsor I'm willing to, he asked me, are you willing to do everything I ask you to do no matter what? And I said yes. And I meant it this time. And even though I knew that was taking on a lot more than I really wanted, that was the only way to do it. Yeah. All the other ways, the half-assed, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, didn't work. So started going to 7 meetings a week, getting commitments at all those meetings, just getting involved. And my home group does a lot of like extracurricular activities, and I started just doing things to stay busy all the time and be in service.
Just said yes.
Just said yes.
Yeah.
Just said yes.
Just said yes. It's a thing for sure.
Yeah.
I want to know.
But back to the sex.
Back to the sex.
No,
back to the sex.
And
were there trans people?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yo, what kind of podcast did I sign up
Jesus.
for?
No, but just to the point.
We're bombing people. Maybe
What?
we should tell people what this is.
We're bombing people?
So
Did
no
you know
one knew
exactly
he-
what this is?
No one knew what he was getting
Okay,
himself
okay.
into.
here we
Yeah.
go. No, but about dating. When I got back and I was about 30 days sober, there was a girl in the group that had almost 5 years sober, and we hit it off, and we were going to start dating. And my sponsor
When
said,
you first got
like
back
I was
in.
about 30 days sober,
Oh, okay.
and
Okay. We listen
went-
and we don't judge.
I went, no.
We
So
listen.
I went to my sponsor and I asked him, and he goes, Noah, absolutely not. And I'm like, well, why not? He goes, what the fuck do you have to offer that woman right now?
Mhm.
And I was like, excuse me?
Mhm.
Like that was kind of rude. But he's like, no,
I love it.
like, what do you have to offer a woman? You're living in a treatment center. You barely get by, and you have nothing to give this person. This is not what relationships are about. I'm going to
Mhm.
teach you how to treat a woman like your mother or your sister. Like,
Yeah.
what a concept,
Mhm.
right? Like, you're going to learn how to show up with flowers and make her coffee and like be a partner in a relationship. You're a taker.
Yeah.
All you've ever done, and you've always had girls, you've been in relationships your whole life. You need to get to know you. And
Do
Yeah,
you feel like you were
100%.
going after her because you were trying to take something from her at that point?
no, I was just trying to satisfy
The hole.
The hole. One of the holes, right?
And you know what? Also, if she knows all this about you, or if someone knows all this about you and still wants you, they're fucked up too.
And
then you go,
wait a minute, why do I want this bitch?
And then like I waited, and my sponsor told us, he said no dating, right? So what does that mean? That's
There's a gray
that's harsh.
area.
Well, and he said, you can go on dates, you can do it, but no emotional attachment to anyone, and you have to be honest with those women from the get go, right? Like there's no playing around. You have to be honest about your intentions. So for the
Yeah.
first 11 months, I didn't date anyone.
Because your intentions
We're pure.
were pure.
Well, I got to like I got to. Nobody got in the way of my step work. Nobody got in the way of my meetings. Nobody got
That's
in the
what
way
it is.
of my recovery or my
And
fellowship.
emotions do that.
Yes.
And when you're just having sex, it's not getting in the way of the step work and the meetings and all of that. But when you
Yeah.
start dating, it's like, oh, but I want to hang out with you and I want to go and
Yeah.
watch a movie and cuddle on the couch and da 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 da. When you're just having sex, it's like, okay, bye.
Yeah. No, that's
Right?
that's true.
Was
Yeah.
that it?
Well, and
Can't confirm or deny that.
yeah. Well, and also too, like I said, you have to be honest with yourself. If you're a person that can't do that and you know that, and your sponsor says you can, I would be like, I can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I'm surprised your sponsor would give you all that layaway. I'd be like, no sex, no nothing. But I used like jerk off. Make your right hand muscular. Or left.
But ambidextrous.
Or both. No, but that's awesome that you did that and you kind of kept that and not did the dating thing.
Did you ever start catching feelings for anyone?
No, but and it was the
Wow,
first. It was the
savage.
Did the girls catch feelings? And you had to have
Ooh,
conversations.
good
so that
question.
conversation was always had like right in the
Because
beginning.
women do always catch feelings.
And some do, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Not all, I don't want to say always, but
and
more
a
than
lot of guys too, right?
yeah,
like
and a lot of guys do.
being very pure about your intentions. You can also read the room, right? Like you can kind of figure out what's going on and separate quickly if that's the case.
Yeah.
But my intentions was not to hurt anybody and not to get myself in a situation that would put my sobriety or my
Yeah.
growth at risk.
So
Were
then
you-
you guys talked and agreed and then had sex.
We wrote
Basically.
a contract and everything.
That's good. That's good. With your
consent.
oh my god. Consent to sex.
Oh my lord!
That's what it
Were
has
you
to
finding
be like.
these girls in rooms?
In the
Or
room-
the streets.
No. I was told to stay away from dating girls in my home group or messing around
Thank
with girls in my
you.
home group.
I love this.
Why do people shit where they eat? I don't understand.
And there's a reason. I mean, I don't mess with girls in the workplace or in my home group.
It's
because
the
those are-
same thing.
Yeah, it's that's home,
Yes.
right? It has to be a safe place for both of us. So being able to show up to my regular meetings on a regular night and not feel like I don't like there's something uncomfortable because of a relation with another person.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Yeah, I've never had that happen.
I actually want to ask you, because you're like me, I've been in and out. Did you, by doing the work, did you find your routine? And I'm going to say look, my routine is I get sober, get into relationships. I can't handle the emotions. So then I relapse, and then I relapse, I cheat on them, and then that's how I get out of the relationship, because I can't be a man enough to have a conversation with the person. So that's how I exit all the time, is by doing that. So I want to know what your routine is.
And what did you do differently?
And what did you do differently?
Yeah, my routine was very similar.
Okay.
Like, it was the same thing. It's hostages, right? Every relationship I've ever been in, that person was a hostage, and I also could never find my way out of a relationship except to get you so upset with me that you just have to leave, and then I'm heartbroken, right?
And you get to play the victim.
Why would you leave me, right?
Me and Brizzy love hostages.
Yeah. I feel like one at the moment.
You are.
You're not leaving.
So what changed is the values and ethics, right? And learning how to have the tough conversations, right? Like, if you're dating somebody, like down the line, when I started seeing people and you're not interested in that person anymore, being like having an adult conversation, say this isn't going anywhere, right? It's a lot easier for me to go back to the old routine and just cheat on them, give them a reason to be pissed off at me. And then the easy way out.
Easy way out.
Way out. But that's hurting people. And I was, when we make amends, when I was taught how to make amends, we're apologizing or making things right, and hopefully never doing those behaviors again. Right? So as part of recovery, I'm trying to change everything about my fiber. Right? And so acting like that or treating people or hurting people like that doesn't go along with my recovery.
Yeah.
You can't stay sober.
Right.
Doing
Exactly.
those things.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
When my sponsor says, if it's gonna work, you have to change everything about yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And
very
I was
true.
like, oh my god, you're kind of right.
But I don't want to.
But I don't want to change. I want Breezy to ask the question.
Why? What
Anything
question?
crazy about the year?
Oh, okay.
You always
so,
do the good one.
No. His
You
face.
do it because I don't know.
His face. Was there any, okay, so you get sober and we all can relate to the fact that we miss the chaos. Was there any sort of chaos that you created in that first year to go back and feel the craziness, but then you're like, oh my God, I'm literally doing it again?
And you caught yourself, and you're still sober, so how'd you get out of it?
Boom, boom.
I think we're still in the 7 years, right? So there's things that I don't know if I want to talk about on camera yet, right? So there was, starting over with nothing, right? Living in a treatment center and wanting to get things. There were some fraudulent activities, right, in the very early days of sobriety.
Yeah.
And I got in trouble for something, right? And
By
nothing
police?
nothing legally.
Oh, okay.
But I got caught at the treatment center that I was at. They found out some of the things I was doing, and it actually turned out to be a really pivotal moment for me in my sobriety. The counselor that I had at the time, he said to me, Noah, everybody likes you around here. You know how to wiggle your way around and everything like that. But the problem with you is that you don't know how to tell the truth. You're a liar. And again, just like my sponsor told me, what the fuck do you have to offer that woman? It was, you're calling me a liar. And it's it throws my defenses up and who the fuck do you think you are?
Yeah.
To call me.
You don't even know me.
And he's like, it's not that you're a liar. It's just you don't know how to be honest with people. And I challenge you to start being honest about everything you're doing, everything you just did, or anything you're about to do. Any little bright idea that goes off in that little head of yours, I want you to share with one person.
Share it with us. What did you do?
So whether it's your sponsor or your roommate.
Talk about it. Tell us without telling us. We want to know. Everyone does something
okay.
There's no reason to go into details, but at the end of the day, what happened is that he taught me how to start telling on myself, or like telling other people what these ideas that were going on in my head, or like things that I was about to do, or things that I just did. And I started learning how to get honest and telling on myself, or like just opening up to other people, and then allowing
humility,
allowing people to like see me and to like coach me through some really poor decisions.
Nice.
I like that. That's a good answer. What? Okay, so you don't want to go into like crazy things that you did in your first year.
I can't think of any like crazy things that I.
Was there something that someone told? Like, did your sponsor say like, "Don't do this," and you were like, "I'm still gonna do it"?
No.
Nothing. You literally listened to every single thing.
Not that I can think of right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's fair.
Yeah. Is there something that you know that I don't know?
We do.
Okay, let's talk about it.
No.
I'm lying. Okay, so I want to talk about how I met Noah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
We met at Camp Soberfest.
Okay.
And literally, like, I'm in my own world, but the only time I really saw Noah is when we played this game. What was it called?
Werewolf.
When you sit in a circle, there's one werewolf.
There's a few werewolves.
You get assigned. It's like that other game. What is it? So people know what it is?
Mafia.
Okay, so he was the healer. The doctor.
Same thing, yeah.
And the doctor can save people. But also the doctor can save himself. And so I thought that was such a great position to be in. And I loved it so much. And I was like, I wish I was the doctor, but I was a seer. So then I would see who is who and who is a werewolf. And so then I saw him saving himself over and over, and I got really upset. But I thought it was like, that's such a great idea. Long story short, I remember him from there. There was a camp spooky fest, and we're playing werewolf. And I was like, I'm going to this is telling on yourself. Telling on yourself. This is what this podcast is about. And I literally told Breezy, I'll make all the names. And I put doctor on there and put it in my pocket so I can be the doctor.
No, you did not.
I fucking love it.
And I was like, I'm going to be the doctor and I'm going to do the same thing Noah did. And so then I loved it. The whole game, I was like, oh my God, I'm in such a good position of power. And then I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't. And then I'm like, I'm not going to be like Noah. I'm going to save one person. Do you remember that? And I saved Cody one time. So then people didn't think I was a selfish prick like Noah. And so then...
Noah just didn't know how to play the game.
Breezy.
I did.
Oh.
And no, he knew how to play the game. That's why he did that.
And I won.
And he won.
That's all that matters. So I
won too.
There we go. I still cheat at Scrabble.
Oh, there you go.
At Scrabble?
Yeah, I turn around some of the letters and make them blanks.
And make them blanks.
Nobody
Oh
knows.
my
See,
that's
God.
fun. We're cheaters.
You're a cheater.
So
I drive in the carpool lane.
Oh,
some people
Doesn't matter if you're 7
Oh my
years
God, on the
sober,
55.
9 years sober, or 2 days sober. You,
you
still
still
want
have
to
yeah.
cheat the system a little
Yeah,
bit.
you still have to do what you gotta do. But I wanted to save that because I told myself, well, I'll probably tell Breezy like years from now to be funny, but this was perfect.
I cannot believe you did that. That's
awesome.
good.
It's
I love
good,
that
yeah.
for you.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I want to do it again. I always want to be the doctor.
Well, I'm from now on making the pieces of paper now that I know your trick. And if I see that you're the doctor again, I'm going to be like,
Jimmy.
Yeah.
That's
Oh my God, that is
awesome.
so. My cheeks hurt. 'Cause I'm so embarrassed.
Okay, so Noah, that's what we need from you.
That's what you need from me. Scrabble.
Yeah. No. First year, go back. Think deep.
Not this year. You can even go back to 2003.
Oh, other times that you were getting sober, what did you do? That you were like, which honestly, when I got to interview Jimmy, that's a lot. He did everything right his first year
I
this
did
time.
because I got sober 2007, and I'm
You
like,
had done
I'm
it so
done.
many times.
I'm gonna do everything I'm asked.
And you
Except I did
knew.
steal a guy's underwear and smelled it. from one of the jobs. I was working at a job.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that.
But
It doesn't have to be like that.
But the other times you got sober, you didn't listen. You were in the delusion,
Yeah.
and you got loaded. And that's kind of what we want to show people with this podcast is like you can stay sober no matter what.
Yeah.
But maybe you don't because of these decisions, and maybe you're not as lucky as you two that got to have a third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh chance.
Some people die.
And and like you actually end up getting the chance to do it the right way the next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my first time in treatment was in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
I literally went from the ICU. I was in the ICU for 3 weeks after an overdose. I was on the list for a liver transplant and on dialysis. On my 27th birthday, went to treatment. Happy birthday! And I did not want to get high again, right? But like alcohol was not my problem. Yada yada yada. So I was drinking in the treatment center, right? Like literally after I just got off dialysis, pretending to be sober. Nobody knew, and that was all my sobrieties up until this one is that I was always
still
drinking or drugging, one or the other. Hard to do both together because people would can tell. Heroin and alcohol don't really mix well. I don't want to be falling all over the place when I'm pretending to be sober, right? But I just could never handle emotions.
Yeah.
I could never handle stress. When life would come at me, my solution is I'm going to get loaded and figure it out, and then tomorrow I'm gonna perk up and I'll know what to do.
Apologize later.
Yeah, I mean, there was one time, one of the last relapses, I had gone and I was 11 months sober, and I was making.
Were you actually sober?
I was
or were you
actually
still drinking?
no, I was actually sober this time in AA, trying the best I had at that point.
Yeah.
And I went to go make an amends to a former boss who was a friend of mine, and we're talking about crying, right? Like both ways, amends, being forgiven, a plan to make it right. And my roommate at the time was picking up dope that night, right? And I asked him to pick me up some just in case, right?
In case the amends didn't go well?
Just in case, whatever. in case the mood changed. And I've done this so many times. This is the second time that I had relapsed right after an amends. And when I get back to the apartment, he had the heroin. And I said, he's like, Noah, how are you going to do this? Like, everybody knows you're sober. Like, you're really going to fuck it up? And I said, I'll tell them later. Right? It's like, I just need to get the edge off right now. And I there it is. I blew it. Right? I threw away another sobriety just because I couldn't handle the emotions that I was dealing with at the moment. And then that started the downward spiral to this sobriety.
So you had a roommate that was still doing heroin?
We were both
in and out of the program?
In and out, yeah.
That's interesting. We had a previous guest where he was talking about wanting to still have his foot in with the old friendships. Was that something that you struggled with? I know for myself, when I got sober, I kind of just cut everyone off. And
Me too.
I sometimes will talk to people here and there, but for the most part, all of my friends are in recovery.
Yeah, today that's the case.
Yeah.
I always wanted to maintain some friendships from past lives or whatever, but it always led to that barber shop moment, right? You hang out long enough and it's bound to happen.
Yeah.
Every single time I'd be sober and I was going and hanging out with the old boys or those bad,
Yeah.
something.
Well, it's also what's the intention behind it?
What I believed at the time was love and friendship, right? But that's not the case at all.
Yeah. That's the Delulu we've been talking about.
Delulu.
Delusion. Delulu.
It is though. It's
Yeah.
pure delusion to think I really love these people. It's if you think about it, what do you really love about those friendships?
The drugs.
When I got sober this time, I started playing a lot of sober softball, and we travel all over.
I love sober softball.
And we travel all over, and in the beginning, I was hanging out with the younger guys and girls, and we, get wild and do like fun, sober shit
Yeah.
on these trips. And after a little while, I realized that it's all the same, right? Like, I want to like hang out with the older people. I want to watch the guys that have been sober for 20, 25 years, see how they behave and see how they do life. And just like over those trips, I started hanging out with my sponsor and the old timers and really like wanting what they had.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so I kind of gave up the idea of Noah being a kid
Mm-hmm.
and just trying to follow, like, how do these guys have a life?
Mm-hmm.
How do they have a family? How do they have businesses? I want that. Like, I can kid around, have fun all I want, but I still want that. So I think
Can't relate.
I think everything kind of changed in that way. Is that I started wanting to be an adult. I wanted to grow up.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm still a kid in so many respects, but like I wanted to be different.
Yeah. That's very interesting.
Nice.
And how did you go about that? What does that look like?
Learning how to show up, right? Like saying
Emotional sobriety.
like spiritual sobriety.
What does that mean to you, emotional sobriety?
What does emotional sobriety mean to me?
Because that's how you did what you're saying you're doing,
Well, yeah.
what you asked.
Mm-hmm.
Just
The
being in
deep
touch
question.
with what I want to be and what I'm supposed to be on a daily basis, right? Doing the things that I say I'm going to do and being available for other human beings, right?
Accountable.
Accountable and but available,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like be where I say I'm going to be,
Mm-hmm.
do what I say I'm going to do, no matter what, right?
Mhm.
Because again, my whole life I had been someone that says I'm going to be there, wanted to be there, but never showed up unless it benefited me,
Mm-hmm.
right? So showing up to life, showing up to my job, right? What did AA teach me? By getting commitments and going to meetings, it taught me how to show up to my job on time.
Right.
My whole life, I went to work when I wanted to go to work.
Or didn't go.
Or didn't, like there were
Yeah.
some times where I wouldn't show up for a week, tweaking, and then show up on Friday with a smile on my face because it's payday,
Yeah.
right? I've been arrested at jobs, restraining orders from jobs. That hasn't happened in a really long time. You
Thank
know,
God.
yeah.
What does your life look like now versus that first year? Like, has a whole lot changed, or is it just like you stick to the basics and you do exactly what you were taught in that first year?
So my life is very different than the catastrophe of the first year.
You make your first year sound so nice, though. What do you mean
You
by
said
that?
how do you say that?
Catastrophe.
Catastrophe.
Catastrophe. I mean, so what? Okay, we'll
I
go
didn't
back.
graduate
We'll
high
go back.
school.
My first year was a nightmare, right? Like
Oh, so you lied.
Well, I didn't.
Okay, you need to make amends.
No. I didn't have to take bad actions, but it was still like cleaning up a shitload of wreckage,
Okay.
which was very stressful,
Okay.
Yeah.
right?
Nice save.
Thank you. It's cleaning up all the damage,
Yeah.
right? And also like starting from the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
right? Not knowing how I'm going to make it
Mm-hmm.
financially, being somewhat lonely.
So you had a lot of fear.
A lot of fear,
Yeah.
right? And this is the stuff that would always kill me, right? Or that would always take me out because
Emotional
I can't
sobriety.
handle life.
Mhm.
Right.
So if there's a problem with the job, or there's a problem with money, or there's a problem with anything, everything's just fuck.
Yeah.
I just need to get high.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference is this time I didn't. Right? I just kept putting one foot in front of the other, showing up to all the things that I didn't want to go to. And in turn, like we got through that year. We got through the next year. Literally one day at a time.
So you proved yourself wrong.
I proved myself wrong.
And
but,
you built up that.
I used to call my sponsor, right? I call him every single day for the last almost 6 years and 10 months, right? Or 9 months.
Good for you.
And there'd be days in the beginning or 1 year or two, whatever it was, especially in the first year, where I'm like, Dave, I don't know how I'm going to pay this. I don't know how I'm going to do this. And I'm going to fucking kill myself. Like you. And he'd be like, Noah, put one foot in front of the other, have faith, and go help somebody. And he'd hang up the phone. Click. What the fuck? He doesn't get it. This guy does not get it. He doesn't understand what. Of course he does. He was in this spot 25 years ago, and here he is today. And that was the answer to everything. It wasn't an answer I wanted to hear. It didn't solve my problems or I didn't think it solved my problems at the time. Have faith. You're going to get through it. You've been through a lot more. Put one foot in front of the other. Take a better action than you feel, and go help somebody. And the moment that I got out of self and like went and helped somebody, all of a sudden my problems were not that big. I'm talking to new guys who literally just got off Skid Row.
Yeah.
Or I'm talking to guys that are being divorced or whatever their shit is going on for them. All of a sudden, like my electric bill or my car note or whatever it is not as serious.
Yeah.
And everything happened to work out for the last almost 7 years just by taking that action. Today, my life is bigger than I ever could expect it, right? I lived in a bathroom, or, had my car. I just left. I traveled the world recently, like not the world, but I left. I went to London and Scotland and got to go play golf at the home of golf, like a bucket list thing for me.
Yeah.
Right? I travel all over the country for my job on a regular basis. Like I have relationships with friends, family that are meaningful. I get to spend the holidays with them and like do really cool shit that I never thought a guy like me deserved.
Yeah.
Like I just thought I was going to die in a bathroom. So it's a lot better.
What do you do for work?
I work with adolescents in mental health and behavioral health. So kids that were just like me, right? 12 to 17 years old.
And can't deal with their emotions.
That don't know how to deal with their emotions, right? And, the reason I found this line of work and why I fell in love with it is because when I was a teenager, I was always treated like a bad kid. Went to so many high schools and was always in the principal's office or always getting suspended or kicked out. Nobody just sat with me and just asked me, hey, are you okay? Or, hey, what's going on?
Yep.
It's just get the fuck out, you're a piece of shit, this, that, and the other. And that just like fueled the rage and rebellion and resentment in me. So when I get in front of a 17-year-old kid who hates the world, I can put myself in his shoes and level with him and talk through those emotions, like validate, coach, and then, try to show him through like action a better way of life or like a true road to happiness.
Like what you did in your first year.
Yes.
So going back to your first year, you had said something earlier that you had waited. You waited 11 months to date. So did you start dating at your 11 months?
So I did.
You didn't want to wait for your year anymore. It was like, I'm over it.
No, it happened. That girl came back.
That girl? The same girl?
That same girl from 30 days.
Oh my God. Why didn't you? What? You could have led with this, Noah.
Oh, well, here we're back at it, apparently.
Back at it again.
So, when we didn't start dating in my first 30 days, which was
best decision
directed
ever.
against, we became friends, and then that was it. Like that was the boundary. And I remember I showed up to my meeting one night to give my sponsor a cake, and we dress up in a suit and tie, and she texted me on the way out of the meeting, something about me in a suit and tie, I guess. Like, irresistible.
She's like, it made me wet.
She's
like, I'm wet in your suit and tie.
Something along those lines. Or she just said, I think I'm ready to have that coffee. And I asked my sponsor, I said, this is where we're at. Are we ready? And he says, okay, but you guys are members of the same home group, right? And again, home has to be a safe place. This is a conversation you have to have with her now, right? Like, again, having those conversations, hey, if this doesn't work out, are you going to feel safe coming here every Sunday, Wednesday, whatever night? And the same for you. Like, if it doesn't work out, is this a safe place for you? And when that relationship ended, it didn't feel like a safe, and I haven't done it since then because of that. It was uncomfortable.
Because when you guys had the conversation, it's, oh yeah, of course we're going to feel
safe.
safe.
Butterflies are gone, everything.
What do you mean? Of course we're going to end on a great note if we don't work out. Duh.
Yeah.
And we're totally going to be able to go to the meeting and see each other and not be completely resentful.
100%.
Yeah.
And I learn, you know.
Yeah.
It's, you know, part of that recovery thing is learning from experiences, mistakes, whatever you want to call it, or whatever.
And how long were you guys together for?
Just a few months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It didn't last very long.
Are you dating now?
Single.
Ooh, did you hear that? Noah, single, almost 7 years.
Mm.
He likes traveling the world. Plays golf.
A dating show.
This is a sober dating show.
You guys should be married by tomorrow. You guys are
fucking Jimmy.
So that's all we have time for.
No. Okay, wait, no. I want to. Okay, so you guys ended up dating. That was your first relationship in recovery.
Yeah.
Right? Because all the other times they weren't real.
Right.
How did it feel that time being sober, spiritually fit, versus the other times being in a relationship?
And how much time does she have?
She had 6 years.
She had 6 years. You had like 11 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was about 5 years. Okay.
I missed that.
How was it different? It was like I learned how to show up differently, like as a partner, right? Like what that role looks like. Like they're not just an object, right? They're not just there for me, right? That I have to be an equal in a relationship. Yeah, I mean, it just didn't work out. But it was the first experience of like learning how to be with a woman.
And actually communicating and yeah.
Right.
Well, that's the hardest part is the
it's
communication.
It's real emotions. Like I know for myself, like my first relationship ever was in sobriety because I couldn't actually have relationships when I was drinking. And it was this, like, it was so overwhelming to me. Like, I had never experienced love. And so it was like, okay, how am I supposed to do this? You know, like it was so overwhelming for me. So, and I feel like a lot of people can relate to that. And that's also why they say, don't get into a relationship in your first year because it's so much.
It's so much.
Yeah.
That's me. Yeah. But it wasn't like that for you. You were
It
like,
is a lot. And when,
I'm good.
No. And when things don't work out or didn't work out in that case in my favor, I was hurt. Right? And dealing with heartache or whatever I felt like that was at the time was a first.
So then what'd you do? You called your sponsor, told him how you felt. How did you get out of that?
So I checked in with him every single day, right? And that was also right around, well, that was around the time I turned 1. So it was a very awkward time for me. How did I get through it? Just like going to regular meetings, calling regular guys every single day, and doing what I was doing that got me there in the first place, continuing to do it.
And your sponsor would tell you the same thing. Hang up the phone, go talk to another alcoholic, go help someone else. The same thing.
He would tell me those things first and then hang up the phone.
And then hang up the phone. So then you would do that. Anytime you had an emotion or anytime you felt weird, you would call him, he would say the same thing, and you would just do it. Basically.
I had to. And there's several times where I'd call my AA brothers right after Dave hung up on me and be like, what is wrong with him? This is what he said. And they'd be like, yeah, he's right. Right? Has he ever steered you wrong? Right? Remember last time? Yada, yada, yada.
Yeah. And it worked out.
And it did every single time. You know, I would jump off a building, right? If he would never tell me to jump off a building, but everything he said has been so on point and given me like this huge life.
Yeah.
Like, I have to follow his direction.
Do you still ask your sponsor for the like direction, or do you feel like now you it's more of like I'm just checking in kind of thing? Or do you view this person as like a life coach that you're still supposed to go to and be like, tell me what to do, what do I do?
No, I still use him like as a guide every day, right? Like, I mean, not that things come up every single day, but when there's stuff that happens or I need direction, I use him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I even ask him for help with the guys that I sponsor.
Yeah.
You know, so we're very current, and he knows everything about me.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah. And that's different, I'm sure.
Hey,
I'm a secret holder.
let's have Dave on the show.
Uh-oh.
Spill all of Noah's secrets.
No, but that's really what it was. Is my whole life like I hold secrets.
Yeah.
Only I can know that.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah,
now
that
somebody
makes
else has my secrets, and they tell me how to work.
Yeah.
When we first talked about this podcast, you had mentioned your very favorite line in the Big Book, and I loved it, and I would like you to share it with
Yes.
the class.
That would be a good ending.
Yeah. And why?
And why?
So on page 50 in We Agnostics, it says, we miss the reality and the beauty of the forest because we were diverted by the ugliness of some of its trees. And what that means to me is so many things. They're talking about organized religion in that part of the book, and why that one ugly tree scares a lot of us. But I am able to see that sentence as so many things, right? For somebody, let's say, in AA pisses me off, or someone at work pisses me off, or someone in my family, or whatever the case is. I don't allow one ugly tree anymore to ruin like the beauty of the whole forest that's really in front of me. What I've come to understand in getting sober is that there's a lot of things that aren't going to go my way. My expectations of how people should behave and how they should behave around me or for me is jaded, right? And if people pollute an area of my life for me, how do I just look at them as being sick and that they're not the whole picture? And with that, like, being acceptance of that has allowed me to like just walk through life and continue to look for like the beauty and not just focus on the negative.
So beautiful.
That is beautiful.
What is one piece of advice that you were told in your first year that you feel like helped you stay sober and that you still apply to yourself today? Is it exactly just what your sponsor told you, those 3 things? Or was there like something an old timer said at a meeting that really stuck with you?
Oh, I love this. When I was like when I was like brand new sober, I used to go to Radford Hall, like late night meeting, like 10 or 11 o'clock at night. And at the end of the meeting, they'd say, are there any AA related announcements? The old timer would get up and he'd be like, don't drink, you won't get drunk. And, are there any non-AA related announcements? You're like, don't smoke crack, you won't get thirsty.
That is good.
And like, that's brilliant, right? It's funny, but like, no, if you don't drink, you won't get drunk. If you don't smoke crack, you won't get thirsty.
Yeah.
Right? So like, no matter what, don't drink,
Don't
smoke crack. But yeah, I mean, it's literally just trying to follow all the advice, all the stupid things when we're new that we see on the walls.
Yeah.
Just one day at a time, blah, 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 all these little things.
Yeah.
Those things mean so much to me today because those are the tools that I use on a daily basis.
Yep.
I like that advice.
Yeah. Don't drink no matter what. Don't smoke crack no matter what. And on that note, thank you very much for driving all the way here from Los Angeles.
Los Angeles?
Mm-hmm.
West Side?
This is a real one.
Was it West Side?
The Valley.
All right.
Thank you for coming from Burbank. Just kidding.
All right, with that, I am Breezy.
And I am Jimmy.
And we are
Sober Disclosure.
Thanks so much for listening. We love you guys.
This episode is brought to you by Light Salon, Orange County's premier destination for expert hair color. At Light Salon, we specialize in creating stunning custom color transformations that highlight your natural beauty. Owned and operated by passionate, sober stylists, we bring authenticity, creativity, and precision to every client experience. Light Salon.